Sorry about a little bit of a late start, but let's get it started. This program is designed to connect our members and drive business. Accelerate provides an opportunity to hear updates pertaining to regional and statewide issues affecting our business community. Today, we are pleased to hear the State of the Region address from a panel of our local government leaders. Following this panel discussion, there will be a time for questions. We invite you to submit your questions in the lower part with the Q&A section located at the bottom of your screen. Today, we'd also like to thank our sponsor, Citizens National Bank, for sponsoring today's program. We'll begin today with the invocation by Todd Jackson, the Executive Vice President of ADP, and he will be followed by Alan Anderson, our Chamber Division Chair, who will provide our new member recognition and announcements. Thank you for all those who have joined us today. Todd, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it. Please join me in a word of prayer this morning. Dear Heavenly Father God, Lord, I thank you for today. I thank you for the immense blessings that you just shower on us in this great community. Lord, today we thank you for those leaders in our area that have stepped up to be public servants, God. I thank you for these gentlemen. I thank you for the long nights, the weekends, the endless phone calls that they take in order to move our community forward, Lord. I pray that you would bless each one of them. I pray that you would give them discernment and wisdom, Lord, to follow your path, God. And I pray that most of all, that we all work together in order to improve the lives of our friends and neighbors. And God, I thank you most of all for the gift of your son, Jesus. It's in his name we pray. Amen. Mr. Allen, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Todd. Yes, I do have pleasure of announcing our newest members: AAA Homes of Mississippi, LLC, Air Gas, Allstate, Matt Houston, Bridget's Formals and Alterations, Bussett, Circle T Limited Incorporated, Fairley Construction Services Incorporated, Little Dog Cinema, Luckett Land and Title, PSC Solution LLC, Robinson Electric Supply, Southern Tire Mart, Steve Paulman, Dunbar Real Estate. To learn more about our new members, please be sure to visit the ADP.com to view their member listing, along with finding and following their social media and website pages. Discover what a membership with ADP means for your business, or refer a new member by contacting Membership Director Ann Scott Mathis at a.mathis@theadp.com. Before moving forward, we have a few announcements also. On April 27th, Tuesday, Rise Up Professional Development Series Session 1 will be from 11 to 12. The topic is Make Your Business Stand Out. Our speaker will be Tim Walker from WDAM. Zoom, and to sign up, you can go on to the adp.com/calendar to register for the Zoom presentation. Small Business Leadership Award Luncheon will be Wednesday, May 5th, 2021 from 11:30 to 1. The speaker will be Robert St. John of the New South Restaurant Group. To purchase a virtual table or individual tickets, contact Dr. Lynn Houston at lhouston@wmcarey.edu. The May Accelerate will be Friday, May 7th from 11 to 12. And it will be a healthcare update. The panel will include Dr. Brian Batson, Dr. Steve Farrell, and Dr. Rambod Rubosh. Moderator will be Millie Swan from Forrest General Hospital. The sponsors are Forrest General and the Hattiesburg Clinic. And to register, you can visit the adp.com/calendar. And we will now have Kevin Brewer, Citizens National Bank Regional President, to provide sponsor remarks.
Hey, thanks, Alan. It's a pleasure to be here today. Just a little bit about Citizens National Bank. We're an independent community bank headquartered in Mississippi with all 27 branches located in Mississippi. We've been in business for 133 years. We really focus on taking deposits that our customers trust us with and reinvest them in our local communities here in Mississippi through loans for individuals, small business owners, and large commercial businesses. We opened our first office in Hattiesburg in 1995 and currently have 3 offices in Hattiesburg area. Today, our bank is $1.6 billion in total assets with 350 employees, all in our state. We're a little unique in the fact that we also have a wealth management division that manages just over $1.5 billion of total assets. We really believe in being a good community partner, investing in various organizations through Hattiesburg and the surrounding communities that we serve. Our focus as a bank is really centered around helping our clients achieve their financial goals. And we're really best at this by sitting down, spending time, getting to know our customers and understanding what's going on in their financial life so that we can guide them through difficult and just different decisions, from checking, savings, consumer loans, mortgage loans, variety of business and commercial loans. We're able to help achieve our customers' goals. Through our wealth management division, we're also able to help invest for college planning, plan for retirement, provide trust, estate, and tax planning solutions. Most importantly, we're just really excited about being a part of Hattiesburg, what's going on here, all the wonderful things that continue to happen. So we're really excited about that. With that, just want to introduce and welcome our moderator, Callison Richardson. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Citizens National Bank. I'm Callison Richardson, the Community Development Director here at the Area Development Partnership, and I'm so excited that you guys have taken an hour of your day to join us for this exciting panel. We're going to be talking about the state of the region. So joining me today are the heads of our local government, representing the city of Hattiesburg, Forrest County, and Lamar County. And we really are fortunate to have 3 units of government that can work across jurisdictional lines and know how to work together to move things forward. So we've got some great topics planned today. We're going to be talking about job growth and economic development, education and workforce. We've got some quality of life questions. We're going to hear from them what it was like to lead us through the pandemic, and we're going to hit on some of the next big opportunities for success. So joining me today on our panel is Hattiesburg Mayor Toby Barker, Warren Byrd, the president of the Lamar County Board of Supervisors, and David Hogan, the president of our Forrest County Board of Supervisors. Welcome, gentlemen. Glad y'all are here. So to get started, what I wanted to ask you guys to do is just take 60 seconds, tell us about yourself, and I think just, why did you decide to go into public service? So anybody can kind of start with that.
Thank you, Callison. As stated, I'm David Hogan, and I'm currently serving as the president of the Forrest County Board of Supervisors. I am a native of Forrest County and a graduate of the University of Southern Mississippi. I now have 25 years of public service under my belt. I started with the Forrest County Sheriff's Department and then worked for the 12th Circuit District Attorney's Office serving Forrest and Perry counties. And I'm in my 14th year on the Board of Supervisors. I've been with my wife, Deborah, for over 30 years. We have 3 children and 3 grown children, and we're blessed with our 4th grandchild. My parents were public servants. My dad delivered babies and my mother was a teacher. And when I was a senior at USM, Colonel Fletcher got me an internship with then Sheriff Billy McGee. And that's when I fell in love with public service. There's just something rewarding when you can help a member of your community, even if it's in a small way. So thank y'all for having me today.
Welcome. Warren, you want to tell us about yourself?
Sure. Being David set the bar for everyone, well, I'm all in. I am Warren Byrd. I am serving as president of the Board of Supervisors in Lamar County. I'm a lifelong resident of Lamar County. I'm serving my 10th year in office. I am married and I have 2 young children. I decided to run for office about 11 years ago or 12. Basically, my goal was to try to see if I could make a difference or an impact in the county and the county I was raised in. by the times I've seen how it's grown over the last 20 years. Things changing. So I had an interest to be involved in my community. And that's why I am where I am today. And I want to continue to serve this county as long as I'm doing my job.
We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
All right. Mayor Barker, you want to round out the introductions for us?
Sure. Hi, I'm Toby Walker, and I have served as mayor since 2017. I am not from Hattiesburg. I actually grew up in Meridian and came here to go to Southern Miss. And by the time I finished undergrad and grad school, I'd fallen in love with the city. And so for me, I knew I wanted to go into some kind of public service because I just wanted to help better the quality of life for people. And went and got an economic development master's from Southern Miss. And an opportunity came in 2007 to run for the state house, and was fortunate enough to win that race. David Hogan and I were elected the same year and served 10 years there, and then ran for mayor in 2017. And so with every passing year, I'm more, my affinity for our community and for a full awareness of its potential, I believe, continues to grow. So I'm excited to be in this role and glad to be joining y'all today.
All right. I think y'all are off to a good start. Okay, so we're right at about 11:20. So the goal now is we're going to kind of talk through the state of the region for the next 30 minutes, and we're going to reserve about 10 minutes at the end for Q&A. And so to those of you tuning in, we've got that Q&A option at the bottom. And so if someone wants to ask Toby about masking or any of the other great topics that you could ask about, plug that in and we'll get to it at the end of the program. So the first topic that I want to talk about doesn't necessarily naturally fit with everything else, but the truth is that it really colors everything that we're trying to do. And so that's the pandemic. And so now that we're a year out from that initial shutdown, I'd love just to give you guys an opportunity to talk about what it was like to lead our community over the last year through that. And just to talk about how the region has fared through COVID-19. David, if you want to kind of take the first question here, the first kind of tell us what it was like to lead during the pandemic. Got to get him unmuted, I think. There you go.
To be honest, as a community leader, it was very scary. We were hearing about this invisible killer around in other parts of the world, and even making it to the larger New York City and places. And I thought we had time to prepare. And then we had some local cases come in, and so we had to immediately meet with our county-owned hospital leaders, Mayor Barker, the Mayor of Petal, our emergency management people, and start putting COVID restrictions, emergency declarations in place. And it was something that none of us signed up for, and I don't think anyone ever really fathomed in our generations. And but to put mask mandates, social distancing, restraining private businesses from being able to operate was just unheard of. And we continue those meetings, and Mayor Barker's been very good with his weekly meetings, and we continue to meet today. And I can't thank the healthcare professionals enough for what they've done for our community. And I think that, and I'm sorry for anyone here today that suffered any loss, and prayerfully we're at the tail end of it. Thank you. One other thing, Allison, is there's a careful balance between public safety and personal liberties. And here at the Board of Supervisors, we've tried to do enough to ensure public safety the best we could without infringing on people's freedoms. And when I look back, I want to be able to say that I did what I could without doing that. And I believe we've done that here in Forrest County.
All right. Toby, Warren, you guys want to tell us what it was like to lead through the pandemic?
Well, I'll say that certainly some of the toughest moments as a mayor or as an elected official have happened over the past year. And I think when it's all over with, I'll go back and process all of those things, because you really just have to deal with what you have to deal with in the moment. And you can't dwell on it too much, because you just need to make the right decision and move on. It's tough. It's tough seeing people knowing that 230 people in our community are dead because of this. And we are still losing people, and we don't have to anymore. And the frustration of people not going ahead and getting their vaccine and protecting themselves and protecting their families, it's frustrating to see. But at the same time, as David mentioned, people have the right to choose for themselves. But it is tough to get that text message every day and see that there's been a new death. I think my takeaway from this season is just a great sense of appreciation and humility when it comes to our healthcare providers. I know last week when I went in for my vaccine, it was just overwhelming to know what all went into that to get us there, and then to walk in and see not only our nurses, but also nursing students from Southern Miss and William Carey and PRCC and DO students who have volunteered their time to be on the front lines. And they're not getting paid, but they're volunteered to do it. Just an overwhelming sense of gratitude toward them, and also our teachers who have gone back when other areas have been debating on when they're going to go back. We've been back the whole school year, as well as our emergency management personnel, Glenn Moore. And I know that, Warren would say the same thing about his staff. It's just the best when it comes to doing what needed to be done to make sure people have what they needed to protect themselves. And in terms of how it's going, I think for me, a great byproduct of this has been a very close collaboration with both our counties now, and which I think is going to have spillover effects for us as a region as we go forward, because we communicate on a weekly basis now regarding the pandemic, and that leads to other conversations as well. But economically, our tax revenues have really come back in the last 9 months. We had a few months that were really kind of scary, and we had to make some tough decisions. But I think in the last 9 months, Hattiesburg has had at least 5 months of record sales tax. And that doesn't mean that every business is doing well, because we certainly know that's not the case. But I do think as a region, we've weathered this once again, because I think we're a resilient community and we have all the pieces in place. We have a lot of talented entrepreneurs who adapted to not only the economic times, but also the regulations that had to go into place to protect people. And I feel, people feel comfortable coming to Hattiesburg because they know there is some sense of public health that everyone values. And so those are just a few takeaways that I've had.
Thank you. Yeah. Warren, I'm sure a lot of that resonates with you. You experience so many of those same things. Is there anything else you could add in there about what it was like for you?
Well, the point, I can mimic both of their comments and statements, is very true. We all had different approaches, but it was all the same. And the leading part of the pandemic, I like to call it survival mode. It's when this thing hit, as Toby and David both know, and the whole rest of the panel knows, that you didn't know what your next move was. You didn't know what to do. And every morning, myself and our administrator, Jody Waits, would meet in his office. And I'm honored to have an awesome staff from the front to the back. I'm going to give Jody a little shout out. He was constantly on this every day. Every panel, every thing he could view on the internet, every part of it, he stayed on knowledge. And that's what we learned to try to help us make decisions, is knowing, is trying to know what's coming, what we think's coming. And I think we also piggybacked off of each other with Mayor Barker. It's challenging, and we all dealt with the issues going through the pandemic. You have family members, you have friends, they think you're stupid, they think you made bad decisions, why are you trying to control us? And we all went through that. But what's coming out of the deal that I am kind of proud of, and I'm a pro vaccine guy, okay? I have a lot of friends, doctors, and they say, you're going to take a shot, you're going to grow a third arm. It doesn't matter. And I've realized this community has come together, Forrest County, Lamar County, the city, and got the vaccines and moving forward and put this thing behind us. Once again, it was a challenge. It was a challenge this whole nation faced. And I thank my team. I thank our committee, our employees. Everyone did a great job. And let's just pray that we're on the way out of this.
Wow. Well, I hope you guys know how much we all appreciate you. I know I can't imagine what it would have been like to be in your shoes over the last year and the sacrifices you made and the really hard decisions. So just from our team and the community to you guys, thank you for what you did for us and helping us get this far. All right, let's move on to some lighter topics. We got some good stuff to cover here. Okay, so let's talk about job growth. Recently, the Hattiesburg MSA received a major accolade, #2 MSA in the country for job growth, 2.9% increase in employment during the pandemic. We added jobs at an impressive rate, and a lot of that's due to the very pro-business units of government that we have here, and it's showing in the results. So, if anyone would love just to share what your thoughts are on what that ranking means for the region.
Well, I think that one is a testament to just the amazing businesses we have in our community, particularly those who are members of the ADP and who see the big vision and contribute so that it can operate and continue diversifying our economy. And to the ADP staff who work a whole lot to try and get people in to see our community and tell us as policymakers what we need to be thinking about. That's a tremendous value to us. I know when I was in DC a few weeks ago, the #2 MSA in the country was there was a lot of buzz around that. Certainly great recognition for our 2 counties, or actually our 3 counties in the MSA. For me, it kind of said, okay, where do we go from here? And there's a couple of things I think we need to take away from this. One, we have to understand that not all businesses are doing well, that we're not seeing job growth in certain sectors. We know that tourism and hospitality and restaurants and hotels have a way to come back. Now, I know our hotels are up a little bit over last year, but we still have a long way to go as we start to have gatherings and things to try and get people coming here, visiting here, and seeing those restaurants and hotels and the hospitality industries rebound. Second thing is, I think we also need to recognize that we have a lot of jobs that are going unfilled right now because we don't have people with the skill sets to go get those jobs. Whether it's nurses or surgical techs or welders or any of our manufacturers, we have jobs that are out there ready to be filled, but we can't get the right people with skill sets to go and get those jobs. And so I think there's a gap there between equipping people with the skills they need and the certifications they need to go and take the jobs that are obviously available. And finally, I think this is an encouragement to us to continue to diversify our economy. We've leaned on education, healthcare, and military for so long, and those are obviously things that help us withstand recessions. But we need to continue growing, manufacturing, particularly the high-tech manufacturing. We need to continue thinking about logistics and warehousing and corporate headquarters, because those will continue to allow us to weather economic storms, but also bring and retain young talent here, which is what we need to be thinking about in terms of how can our community take the next step. But certainly an accolade that we should be proud of and that everyone should take pride in.
Either anybody else want to kind of weigh in on that, or y'all want to, I think Toby hit on a lot of the topics we've got to talk about, but if you've got any thoughts on the ranking, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I would just say what a great testament to our region. I mean, and I believe it's going to continue to help buoy our economy as we move forward. It's, as Toby said, it's a nationally known that we're the second greatest economy during the pandemic, and I believe it's going to attract future business, and we'll see expansion from that. And I just want to give a huge shout out to our business leaders. I mean, for them to basically defy business principles and logic during the pandemic and keep paying their employees and restricting their patrons in business, it's hard to believe. And the banks to continue to loan money. And I think about Andy Woodard, the CEO of Forrest Health. I mean, the numbers were telling him to lay people off, and he refused to do it. And believe me, Andy is a numbers guy. If everybody that knows him knows that. And so, I mean, this organization, the Area Development Partnerships, keeping us all together and keeping us encouraged through it all. It's as I said, it's a great testament. And I know some of the businesses that have been hit hard, as the mayor said, the restaurant and service and tourist industry, but manufacturing and construction has flourished through it and continues to. And I believe it's just a matter of time that we're all going to be back ginning with this economy.
Yeah. One of the topics I want to get into is one of our big announcements that happened during the pandemic. So a kind of a common theme here is just regionalism. The fact that you guys and your units of government are working together to get things done. And we know that a win for any corner of our community is something that's going to support all of us. And so I want to talk through some of the recent examples that we've had in terms of just excessive investment and regionalism. And of course, one of the biggest ones was in Lamar County, just right at the end of the year. And so Warren, huge congratulations to Lamar County Board of Supervisors on that recent announcement. The Idaho Forrest Group investing $120 million, will hire 135 people in Lumberton. Our team has consistently stated how integral you were in helping land that historic project for Lumberton. So I'd love for you just to tell all of us a little bit about that process, what the experience was like, and how you think it'll impact the region.
Yes, and going back to two things David and the mayor said, ADP. During the pandemic, everything was going. This started, I think, back in March, somewhere along the lines, and moved through. And yes, there was a lot of meetings, a lot of time spent where it wasn't the most comfortable. And it was, am I going to catch the COVID there or what? But nothing stopped the drive with the charge of Idaho Forest Group. And I can't give enough shout out to ADP's team, to Todd Jackson. I know he's on the call and he worked hard. Your whole team worked hard. Everybody's moving parts. And yes, I did play a big part of it. It was a very big thing for Lamar County, for my area. I mean, I even hauled side by sides on Saturday and Sunday for the owners to ride on the property. So whatever it took to make it happen, we participated. And the support of the Lamar County Board I sit on was just amazing. I mean, everybody was all in. And the impacts of it, talking about the employment numbers and the things coming out of it, I'll get off into that real quick. Not only is this huge for Lamar County, it's huge for the city of Lumberton. It's a city that's kind of struggled over the years. It's going to maybe a game changer for them, but this will impact the whole region. This will affect Marion, Forrest, Stone, Pearl River, anyone in the logging timber industry. This should be a major impact. And I call it a large region. I mean, we could be 60, 70 miles out. So yes, it was a great accomplishment. It was exciting. We're still moving forward the process. I'm still involved with Idaho now, not from the decision point, as from the neighbor point. What can we do to make this process better? But thank you for that. And thank you for ADP for the diligent, long hours of work you put in to make this process come through for all of us.
Well, it's an honor to be able to do this kind of work and to watch my teammates work on projects like that. And one other thing that we're really proud of, they're not nearly as big of a deal as an IFG, but we actually just recently approved 2 of our SimKick loans. That's our small business lending program in Lamar County. So one of them is Pine Belt Robotics. It's supporting a retired teacher from Lamar County Schools. And she's just running a bang up robotics academy that is just doing awesome. And then the other one is in Summerall. We're going to be helping open an antique shop and kind of small business hub in downtown Summerall. And so so many investments of all sizes are happening in different corners of the community, and it's good for all of us. So all right, let's move into Forrest County and the city. So David and Toby, I'd love for you just to tell us about some of the recent investments and momentum that you're seeing in the kind of that area of the region.
Yeah, so let me just say, I don't think there's anybody on this Zoom meeting today that isn't proud of Lamar County landing that sawmill down in South Lamar County. We're going to all benefit from it, and what a great accomplishment that was. Chad came to town, I don't know, 10 or 11 years ago now, and he taught me a lot about regionalism. Sometimes government entities don't always agree and may butt heads, and you know, he taught me that the rear view mirror is very small and the windshield is very big. And when you extend olive branches and forge relationships, and we all can get together, we can accomplish way more than we can by ourselves. And when you walk into a senator or congressman's office with a group of local elected officials, believe me, you have their attention, and it is a general rule, you walk out with their support. And so kudos to Chad, and you really just have to look no further of our industrial park, Midtown, the airport, the progress that's been made at our mega site. I mean, that's why this community is where it is, and it's such a great place to live.
Yeah. Toby, you got anything you want to add about investments in the city and some momentum that you're seeing?
Well, I think we're continuing to see Midtown take off, and as David mentioned, the district. I mean, you've also got some possible projects that are being worked on in that area, because we know the long-term vision for that, and I think certainly the private sector is seeing that momentum as well. People like Rob who took a risk early. You know, we think that's going to be the catalyst for future things coming down the pike. I would also say, just, you know, thanks to the ADP and helping us land that Regions Mortgage Center out on Lincoln Road Extension. We're now seeing grants that we've been able to achieve because of that. And you see us working with Lamar County, Lamar County is going to widen Lincoln Road Extension. We're going to, we started a rebuild of Lamar Boulevard this week, which I know that's been a long awaited project for people that live out that way. But I think that the idea that we should solve problems together, and that we should, you know, the rivalries should kind of start and end on Friday nights for football games. But there's way too much crossover between our communities to not, you know, reap the benefits of each other's success.
Okay, well, so if the rear view mirror is small and the windshield is wide, like David reminded us, let's talk about what's in the windshield and what do we see as the future opportunities for success that in terms of jobs and investments for us. So David, you got any thoughts on what you see coming down the pipeline and what our opportunities are?
Oh, absolutely. You know, in 2010, Forrest County applied for a Tiger grant that developed and laid the footprint for Midtown. And a huge shout out, as the mayor mentioned, to Rob Tatum for making that first step, and Robert St. John. We're currently working on potentially an $80 million, the Arlington mixed use housing and retail project that we're hopeful will come through in Midtown. So I think that has been such a great area to redevelop and bring tax base back into Forrest County. And I want to thank Forrest Health. It's the anchor. I mean, there's 4,000 employees there, and we wanted to redevelop between the university and our healthcare sector. And they have been very instrumental in acquiring some of the smaller parcels to better attract these large scale developers that want to come in and have a bigger piece of property ready to shovel ready, as you say. And I think it's going to pay off in spades in the long run. And two, the Hattiesburg Clinic. I mean, my dad was the 13th doctor in 1967, and now there's over 300 physicians working out of the Hattiesburg Clinic under Tommy Thornton and Mr. Agnew. What a great job they've done. They more recently built a $10 million support staff building. The Jones brothers are finalizing a $20 million building. The Hood family just built a new headquarters out on Veterans Memorial Boulevard. So I believe the future looks very bright, and that mega site that Forrest County and Lamar County are partnering on, we're getting a lot of the legwork done. We're putting in natural gas there now, and Chris Johnson and our state delegation is making improvements to the Highway 11 and 59 interchange. It's going to be, as Chad says, the fourth leg to our economic stool one day. I really believe that. We got great health care. We got great education. We've got military and this a large scale manufacturer would be an unbelievable asset to our community. So I have nothing but optimism moving forward.
Good. Yes. And I think a lot of this is laying that groundwork and preparation to be positioned to get a swing at the plate. And so site development has been something that we've been focused on a lot at the ADP. And you guys, the regionalism actually stretches beyond just, our kind of folks here, because Forrest County partnered with Jones County to put money and to get the development together for the I-59 supply chain park. So that's another site that we've got right here that is that we can market and hopefully land someone really soon there. Warren, Warren, with the Eagle One mega site, is there anything, David kind of hit on some of that, but is there anything you want to add in there about the opportunity that might mean for our community?
Absolutely. To mimic off what David's talked about, it is the Eagle One mega site. This is something we've partnered with Forrest County several years in. I'm not sure the number of time. It's 2,222 acres that we have under option. The beauty of it is there's 2.8 miles of frontage on I-59. There's a mile and a half on frontage of Highway 11. It sits between the 11 and 59 corridor. It's been going on for a while. All the due diligence has been done. A lot of the studies have been done. I can't see, there's something coming that's going to be good, and we're going to be ready, as David said. We're 2 hours from water ports and Gulfport, from ship channels. We know we have railroad access, interstate access. So yeah, that's a big push that I think we're all excited to try to land something. And basically, who knows? Everything now you read on the internet is GM going to be all electric cars. Maybe we'll land an electric vehicle plant or a battery plant or something. But at this point in the game, I think I can agree with Forrest County. We want something large, and we're open arms to come in and let us offer what we can. And I know the ADP works tirelessly on this effort all the time. And you don't hear about it, and you won't hear about it because it's confidentiality. Some of these companies is very important to them. Mm-hmm. But that being said, I do want to get into the weeds just a minute on something about future opportunities. This is something big that we're proud of, and it goes back to coming out of the pandemic. And I'm going to touch on it a little bit. I'm not heavily involved because I have a team working on this, but diversion centers. Lamar County has a facility we have acquired. We are looking to move to have a diversion center in Lamar County. And I'll be real brief. For those who don't know your civil commitments, the civil commitments now are when someone comes in the courthouse, they get put in a jail cell. And for whatever reason, if I want to have Mayor Barker committed, he may go to a jail cell. It's just the process that works. We have landed something, a facility local, close to our deal. We are moving forward. Also, we have been awarded the SAM's grant for a game center grant to help us try to form this, to get this thing off the ground. And that is something that we are also working on hard. And we have a team that's very involved. But I want to put that out there to let people know that during this pandemic, not only did people suffer from business loss, people suffer from job loss. Mm-hmm. We saw a huge influx with civil commitments and commitments from people, the stress and the strain of all. And I think we all can agree this is a need, but I just want to put out there also, Lamar County has got the process going, and we're steadily moving forward with this.
Thank you for sharing that, Warren. That's, our people, that's our human capital, and we got to take care of each other. And so I'm glad to hear that y'all are looking at just some new ways to support the folks in our community. So we haven't even gotten that far in my questions, you guys. Okay, so here's what I want to do. Toby, I'd love for you just to take 60 seconds. Tell us about all of the work and success y'all have had with federal grants and what they're going to mean, transportation grants, what they're going to mean for Hattiesburg. And then hopefully we can get into a little quality of life before we have to turn it over to Q&A.
Yeah, absolutely. So for us, the grant process has gone very well. We work very hard at it. working with the ADP and local impact analytics and Neil Schaefer and our congressional delegation. We wanted to try and solve the train issue once and for all. And so last year we were able to earn a Chrissy grant of $5.3 million and a Build grant, which is kind of the Super Bowl of all transportation grants, of $13.3 million. And that combined with some city investment, we're going to build 2 railway overpasses just south of our downtown to try and finally solve the train issue once and for all for our downtown businesses and for people who go in and around downtown to get to work. And so excited about those 2 things. We hope to begin the first overpass later this year.
Awesome. Okay, so let's see. We've got some quality of life stuff. Maybe we can spend a few minutes on that, and then we're going to turn it over to Q&A if there's some questions from our audience. So I want to talk about future workforce, because we know that's such a big part of our ability to recruit people to the supply chain park, recruit a company to Eagle One. So David, the Forrest County Board of Supervisors had a big announcement last week about some new initiatives with PRCC. Can you kind of give us a quick update on what those are and what they mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me first just say, growing up here, as a lot of us know, a lot of our friends and even myself for a while had to leave to find good paying gainful employment. And so since being elected, I've made it one of my priorities, and the Board of Supervisors have worked hard to help create good jobs. And you have to have a workforce that is trained, as the mayor spoke about earlier. And the way that the Board of Supervisors has tried to do that is through the Pearl River Community College's Forrest County campus. But several years ago, they paid off their original nursing building, and we did allow them to keep that millage on, and they were able to spend approximately $1.5 million renovating and expanding their workforce development program. We built them some new parking areas and did some paving on the campus. More recently, we contribute approximately $100,000 a year towards any Forrest County student, whether in Hattiesburg, Petal, or in Outlying County, can go to Pearl River Community College and take their associate's programs tuition free. So pass it around, let everybody know that they can go tuition free to PRCC and get a good trained job. My son got an instrumentation and electronics degree, I&E degree from PRCC, and he makes nearly $30 an hour now at Kohler out there, and is doing very well for a 24-year-old. And most recently, with the help of Forrest Health, we have started an LPN to RN bridge program that'll be starting this fall. And so LPNs can continue to work. I want to shout out to Dr. Jana Causey. She's the vice president over the Forrest County campus. They're going to work with their schedules and do online and in-class teaching. But a one-year program, an LPN can bridge into an RN and more than double their pay scale. So we're very proud of that and thankful that Forrest helped with implement that.
PRCC are just such excellent partners across the board for workforce development in our community. I know, Warren, when we were meeting the other day, you mentioned about how they're already working with IFG to put together, customized training and hopefully be able to, build a workforce for them when they get here. Toby, I'd love if you could just give us kind of a little bit about the partnership that Hattiesburg High has with PRCC in the way of middle college and what that means for kind of building that pipeline even earlier than folks at the college level.
Yes, we saw kind of 2 gaps there, and Dr. Williams and PRCC kind of stepped forward and basically starts allowing 11th graders who qualify for the program to continue taking their high school classes, but also split their time with PRCC. So over the course of 2 years, by the time they finish high school, not only do they get a high school diploma, but they also have an associate's degree already ready to go. The other thing we did with our COVID CARES Act money is that we put some money out there so that anyone who lives in the city who needs to retool because of the economic downturn, if they need to go back and get a CTE degree or a welding program, or if they need to go back and take classes to be a surgical tech, they could. And so again, trying to meet those gaps in skills right now, because we have the jobs there, we just have to get people equipped to take them.
Yep. Okay, well, I would be remiss if I did not mention this about workforce development, and everyone at the ADP will know why I'm plugging this, but we are a really blessed community in that we have 3 early learning collaboratives. We're the only community in the state that has this. There's 18, and what that means is that we have high quality 4-year-old pre-K for kids in Lamar County and Forrest County and Petal and the city. And that means they're going to be more likely to come to school kindergarten ready, more likely to succeed in school. And so this is just, I think, a big part of our pipeline that you can't start too early. And that's huge investments that we can make in our children. So I just want to kind of plug that. That's another shining star that we have for our workforce development. So okay, well, what I want to do, we do have some good questions that came in from the audience. And so I'll just kind of go through these. So a question came in about the fact that the county and the cities have all gotten some significant funding from the various COVID packages, relief packages that have come down. And so they're just asking, you know, what are your goals for spending those incremental dollars and how are you going to improve our area with that? So that's kind of open to anybody.
Yeah, I think we're still waiting to see specific guidance on what we can and can't spend that money on. And I think we're going to take a strategic approach and not move immediately. I do know that in the case of Hattiesburg, I see kind of opportunities to, one, solve some long-standing issues, whether it's, you know, accelerating our work in water and sewer, which would then translate into road work, but also solve some human issues as well. And I think that the balance of those two, understanding this is one-time money, it's not going to be recurring, but can you make some strategic moves with the money you have to really pay off down the line and can bring about some game-changing type projects? That's what we're looking at.
Okay.
I'll take that next. I know we're running a little behind schedule, but I also take the point of what Toby said. We don't know what we can do with it. We're very limited at this time. We're trying to learn. We're not sure exactly what it is, but one thing we do feel comfortable about, it would involve maybe investing into the sportsplex Lamar County is looking at building in the future. There's part of the money that can be used for health and wellness and help drive economic development and stuff like that. But Mayor Barker is very correct. There's very limited uses to what you can do. Water and infrastructure is a great thing. Let's face it, we're not in the water infrastructure business. But we're on top of that. And for anyone who wants to know, we're doing our best to make the best use of that money to help our citizens.
All right. I didn't know, one thing I know too, some of that scholarship money that you guys have been able to work with PRCC, that came from the CARES Act, that you guys even were able to strategically use that.
Yeah, and you know, as Toby said, I don't think anybody really knows exactly what we can spend that money on. And but we do have some things that we're going to do one way or the other. We want to expand our Forrest County Health Department at the corner of Highway 11 and 49. We've been talking with them, and we can definitely use money towards that. And Mr. Byrd mentioned about mental health. We're looking at our annex and possibly expanding on that, and even other human issues like homelessness and so forth. There's even a section in there directed towards economic development, and we're hopeful that maybe we can use it on some infrastructure. We still have a significant amount of wood piling bridges here in Forrest County. We do a good job of maintaining them, but we would love to go ahead and get those replaced into concrete piling bridges, and we're trying to get an answer whether those monies can be used for that. So we're still being cautious and trying to make sure. And some of our recreation centers, I know that Sharon Thompson's building a new community center out in Glendale area. Rod Woolard's finishing one in Sheeplow. Chris Bowen's got a walking path going from Classic Drive to the Trace. Burkett Ross is expanding the Petal Youth Sports Association out in Petal. So we're trying to figure out exactly how we can spend those monies and if some of these endeavors can help the taxpayers save some money.
Great. Okay, so another question. They're asking, basically, in your opinion, what do you see as the greatest threat to the continued growth of our community over the next, 5 to 10 years? Does anybody kind of have some thoughts there?
I think for us, the thing that will hold us back is our own lack of vision. I think we have all the pieces to take the next step as a community. And I say this a lot. I mean, we've got to get out of this conference USA mentality that we're only capable of doing so much. I mean, we've got to really think big in terms of, okay, if our industrial park in Forrest County is full, okay, well then how do we find other industrial sites for the next wave of manufacturers? Is that going to be in Forrest or Lamar County? Is it going to be in some other county? And where can we find available land, and how can we partner to do that? I think the other thing that's a threat to us is we just have to continue. And I've had to learn this. We've got to the territorial nature of our communities. We kind of have to continue pushing that to the background and figure out how can we work with each other instead of competing with each other. And I think those two things are things that are those human capital leadership things that I think Hattiesburg has traditionally been able to overcome, and I hope that we can continue to do it.
That's great. Anybody other thoughts on that one, or we have time for? Well, I'm sorry, somebody needs me apparently.
Let me just say, besides government helping businesses flourish and expand infrastructure, tax incentives, whatever it takes to encourage economic development and job growth, government needs to stay out of the way and let you business leaders do what you think is best for your business. And we'll be here in the background to support you and help you in any way that we can. But government interference, I'm concerned down the road may slow the economy, and hopefully we can just stay out of you guys' way and help you any way we can. And we'll continue on the path that we're on now.
All right, so we're right here at 11:59. Hey, we made it to the end. So what I want to do is just give you guys just 1 minute. If there's something that you were hoping to get a chance to talk about today, that you'd like to share, would love to give you a chance just to kind of put that out there for the audience. So Warren, you want to do your closing remark here?
Sure, I'll take it. I'm gonna go back in the weeds and come back out. One thing I want to bring out to the audience we're talking to, and it's a common concern around the region, and the problem is litter. We in Lamar County declared help clean up Lamar County month for April. There's a big issue. It's a problem for everyone I know. And we're trying to encourage initiative for church groups, membership groups, whatever, come help us help you get this clean. And I'll be real quick. Monday, we had 2 Boy Scouts from the troop come to our board meeting. And they were some of the first ones beside a few other proud individuals that stepped up and said, we want to challenge, we want to go out and start picking up litter and help make this county great again. So my words of that being, help your neighbors, remind the people it's not my fault, it's not Mr. Hogan's fault, the mayor's fault, we can't keep the trash off the road. This is a community effort to make this happen. So everybody lock in, let's move forward. Let's take pride in this great place we live.
Yes. Thank you. All right. David, you want to?
Yes. I just want to thank everybody that participated today. And in particular, I want to thank the business community for supporting the Area Development Partnership. We do give some public sector funding, but it's a very small percentage of their overall budget. And I'm going to tell you, without them, this economy would not be doing as well as it is. And Chad and Todd and Callison and the rest of the team do a great job in helping us stay connected, keeping us forward in the saddle, as Chad would say, and keep looking for ways that we can bring in more economic development and job growth. But it is going to take us all together to keep this organization flourishing in our community doing well. And thank y'all for what you do. And I was proud to be here today, and the Board of Supervisors is proud to be a part of it.
Thank you. Okay, Mayor, wrap us up.
I think everyone should take pride in their city for what we've come through over the last year. I think that we should also set our sights for how can we go to the next level. And you see evidence, even in the midst of just an awful situation, evidence of progress, whether it's road work or bridge work, or whether it's a pocket museum downtown, or whether it's the public art trail, or whether it's a half marathon that's going to bring about 2,000 people to our community tomorrow. I mean, we're going to be okay. And I know that everyone has been inconvenienced with the last year. I hope that you understand that we did this together, and I'm excited about the future, and we're ready to take off if we can all just commit to working together.
Agreed. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. I really enjoyed this time with you and getting to work with you this week to prep, and just appreciate your leadership in our community. So I'm going to turn it over to Chad Newell, the president of ADP, who's going to close us out with some updates.
Thanks, Callison. I tell you, what a great panel discussion, guys. And just watching this today, you elected officials just made me proud. I mean, because all of the collaboration that you discussed and working across your jurisdictional boundaries, and, whether it be infrastructure or recreation or aesthetics or economic development or whatever the case may be, education and preparing that future workforce. I mean, you guys get it. So a lot of people sometimes wonder about the secret sauce of Greater Hattiesburg, and it's really in the public-private partnership. As David Hogan said, the business community steps up mightily in supporting the ADP. The elected officials, you guys lead very admirably. And being an elected official, let's be honest, it can be a thankless job at times. I've never been an elected official, but I've worked with numerous elected officials over the last 3 decades. And I admire you guys for your courage and for standing strong during the pandemic. We are a healthcare community. We are an economic development community. And those two went side by side during the pandemic. There were varying opinions about the pandemic and how to handle it, but we did not let off the accelerator with the job growth. Number 2 in the nation, and the percentage of job growth is really unfathomable. That's as good as it gets, guys. With our 2.9% job growth, the number 1 community in America was in Wisconsin, and they had 3.1%. We were so close to being number 1 in the nation. So it doesn't happen by just happenstance. It is, as the mayor said, we've got to have a great vision. We've got to have a wonderful business action plan. We have to work together collaboratively, and then we've just got to work the plan. There's something to be said about good old-fashioned roll up your sleeves and get after it. And certainly our team here at the ADP does a great job of that. But I want to commend the elected officials one more time on the trust that they have. There's a lot to be said in life about trust, and the trust that they have in the ADP. An elected official would not outsource their economic development program of work to another private nonprofit entity unless there was trust there. And so, man, we have worked hard for years and years to build that trust. And I'm glad that you guys have that in us. And I'm glad that you have that in each other because that's what's going to help propel us as we get into this post-pandemic era. I do also want to quickly thank Kevin Brewer one more time. Kevin, thank you for your leadership in the community. Our banks do a great job. Citizens National Bank, it may be headquartered in Meridian, but they are very involved here in the Hattiesburg community, and Kevin provides good leadership there. So thanks for sponsoring today. Very quickly, want to remind you about these upcoming events. The Rise Up Professional Development Series coming up on April 27th. It's going to be on Zoom, and we look forward to hearing from the fairly new General Manager of WDAM, Tim Walker. I know Tim's going to share some great insights on effectively communicating and working with the media. Next, our Small Business Leadership Award. Guys, most of our businesses, most of our members of the ADP are small businesses. So really, that is where the rubber meets the road, is in trying to help these small businesses grow and prosper and provide them with the resources that they need to succeed. So we definitely want to honor them annually. And we have had this partnership with William Carey for many, many years. So I want to thank Dr. Lynn Houston, Dr. Tommy King, and all of the fine folks at William Carey for that partnership. So you can still purchase a virtual table. This is a hybrid event. The in-person portion of the program is sold out because we're going to have to distance and we could only have a limited number of tables. But you can buy a virtual table for $200, and a lunch will be included with that. And if you're just an individual and want a ticket, then you can contact Lynn Houston about that as well. So please join us as we hear from Robert St. John and as we honor the Small Business Leadership Award recipient for 2021. Should be exciting. You got to tune in to see who that small business is going to be. And then finally, we've got our Accelerate program coming up in May on the pandemic. And these 3 healthcare professionals will do a marvelous job of letting us know where we are in the vaccination process, where we need to go, and how, from a healthcare perspective, that we have navigated through these treacherous waters, but with brighter days on the horizon. And then one last thing I'll share with you. David Hogan, again, mentioned the private sector businesses. Guys, we set a goal for the ADP for our Forward Together campaign to raise $4 million in private sector funds for the ADP to help with our economic development efforts. We set that goal pre-pandemic, and to show just kudos to our business community, during the pandemic, we hit pause, then we picked up in September. But the business community said, we're not backing off the $4 million goal. That's the amount of money that you need to be successful. So that's the amount of money that we're going to go raise. And I'm not going to tell you the exact dollar amount where we are now because I don't want to spoil it, but we are going to have a celebratory event for all of our Forward Together investors on May 20th. So if you are one of the 166 businesses that so far have invested in Forward Together, you are going to want to mark your calendar for May 20th, and the details will follow in a formal invitation. Thanks again to our Toby and David and Warren. You guys are doing a great job at the helm of your respective public entities. You're great partners with the ADP, and you're very pro-business. That's why we're number 2 in the nation. I appreciate everyone tuning in today, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care.